Better late than never. Here's my top films of 2024 list.
Finally!
My personal list has about 15 films and they're not really ranked, but once you get into the top like 7 or 6, those you could probably say are ranked, the top one being my favorite and what I think is the best film of the year. I also have an honorable mentions list that I like to go over first before I get into my top films. So here's my honorable mentions list for 2024. As a reminder, I loved all these films on both lists. It's just these didn't make my top films of the year. So starting off, we have Inside Out 2, Gladiator 2, Heretic, The Outrun, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, Nickel Boys, Totem, His Three Daughters, The Book of Clarence, Kneecap, Touch, Perfect Days, and Challengers. Again, all these films are fantastic. Now we're getting to what I think are my favorite and the best films of the year objectively. And starting off with number 15, The Wild Robot. DreamWorks does it again. Fantastic film. Moving, touching. I loved my experience with The Wild Robot. Number 14, Rebel Ridge. This was just a fantastic action film. I had such a good time watching it. Thoroughly entertaining. All right, I'm gonna stop announcing the number. You can see it there. Next one up is The Girl with the Needle. In my review, I said this was one of the most dark tales and depictions of something so tragic that I've ever seen. And it was just so well done. Next up is The Substance. This was, like I said in my review for this one of the wildest experiences I've had in a theater, and I thought it was amazing, every second of it. Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, was such a moving documentary film, and I had a feeling it would come up on my top films list. I didn't know if it would be in my honorable mentions or top, but going through and remembering my experience watching his life story, not only about him as, playing Superman, but him just as a man. It was amazing. Blow, for me, like I said in my review, one of the only times I've ever felt genuinely like I was in a dream. Going into Monkey Man, I knew it was going to be Dev Patel's directorial debut, and after I saw the trailer, I said this in my review, but after I saw the trailer, I said, I need to see that right now. Was not disappointed. I thought the film was fantastic. Action and story was it was operating at such an exhilarating pace. Awesome film. Sing Sing, my goodness, I just watched that recently. And Coleman Domingo, just talk about a force of nature with how powerful his acting was, and the story and watching the humanity of these men that have been incarcerated. It was fantastic. Wicked surprised me on all levels. I was shocked at Ariana's fantastic acting, and I was just shocked at how moving Elphaba was for me and how seen I felt in certain moments with Elphaba and how Cynthia Erivo played her. This Wicked was it. Humanist vampire seeking consenting person. I knew I had to see this movie just from the title, and it did not disappoint. Like I said in my review, a quirky coming of age tale that had such a surprisingly moving moment for me, so much heart and so picturesque. One of the most beautiful films I've seen in moments that you didn't anticipate to be beautiful. All right, and we're getting into this tier now. We're in kind of the top 5. Furiosa, a Mad Max story, was so underrated. We failed this film at the box office. I thought it was amazing when I came out of it. I loved it. I loved the story. I loved how it went darker than Mad Max Fury Road did. And not saying that it makes the film better or worse. It felt like such an amazing companion piece to that film. I loved Anora so much, and talk about a coming out party. I mean, Mikey Madison, rightfully so, just powerhouse performance, and one of the most human and intimate films I've seen in a long time. I think that's what Sean Baker does so well. Loved Anora. Killian damn Murphy. I mean, what can he not do at like a masterclass level? This film moved me. This film in genuine silence after the film was over. Just incredible. I was admittedly a mess after leaving We Live in Time. This was one of the only films where after I left, I turned around and I saw somebody having to be helped out because they were uncontrollably sobbing, and rightfully so. This film was beautiful. It was rousingly emotional. It was some of the best chemistry and acting I've seen by two individuals who, I think I said this in my review as well, they want to remind you, hey, this is who we are. In case you forgot. In case you forgot, my name is Andrew Garfield. Hello, my name is Florence Pugh. It was a film that felt so intimate and so powerful and was just so well crafted. I mean, and had it not been for my favorite film of the year, this would have been the best one to me. Also, like with Sing Sing, A24 does it again. I don't know what else to say that hasn't already been said. Dune Part 2, for me, was not only the best film of the year, it might be the best film of the next couple years because, like I said in my review, we're in a unique moment in time. Like, I am so lucky to be living in the time when we have arguably the greatest trilogy of all time in The Lord of the Rings. And, living through that, being able to sit through that in the theater. And then Dune, I love Dune Part 1. Dune Part 2, just another level. Denis Villeneuve, masterclass, 10 out of 10. The acting, 10 out of 10. The visuals, how swept up you are in the story. It was like you married every single genre that when it's operating at a 10, in theory shouldn't work if it's, together, like sci-fi at a 10, indie film feel at a 10, acting masterclass by all across the board, 10 out of 10. I mean, it was just Dune Part 2 was it. And the whole year after I saw it, I had a feeling I was like, okay, that's probably going to be at the top. And every film I saw, I wasn't measuring it up to that, but just I knew I was doing this list at the end of the year. And it's just nothing could top Dune. It's always Dune. Best film of the year to me. And there's my list. Let me know what you think. Put your list in the comments. What did you think of my honorable mentions, my top films list? Is there any you would swap or do you agree with me? Just let me know what you think.